Whenever we hear the term search engine marketing, it's generally associated with ranking higher on Google. But SEO has come too far, and Google has been working on enhancing user search experience and training its bots to do so. Hey everyone, welcome back to Digital Marketing Musings. Today we have Ajaz with us, who leads the SEO capability at Merkle Sokrati, and he's going to share some insights on Google's helpful content update and what marketers should be looking for to rank higher on Google. Thanks for joining us today, Ajaz. Could you please help us understand what are these Google algorithm and core updates and what should we be focusing on?
Thank you for inviting me to join here, Deeksha. I want to take a step back and first of all explain what these updates are. So there are two forms of updates. The first is algorithm updates, which are released with the intention of penalizing websites which are involved in bad practices. So bad practices mean producing poor quality content, interacting with websites and acquiring backlinks from websites which are poor quality. And over the years, Google has released multiple iterations to its algorithm, and these iterations were intentionally released to penalize bad actors, right? So sites which were producing poor quality content were penalized by Panda update back in 2011, and sites which were acquiring poor quality spam backlinks were penalized by Penguin update. The impact of these major algorithm updates has been massive. For instance, Penguin update influenced almost 3% of the total search queries that are happening on Google. Over the period of last several years, the intensity and the volume of these penalizing updates have been fewer. Google has become smarter and is doing a better job at introducing these ranking signals within the algorithm itself. So any update that is released with the intention of introducing a new ranking signal or penalizing sites which are interacting or are involved in certain bad practices, those are categorized as algorithm updates. However, the iteration in its core algorithm, those updates are generally named as core algorithm updates. Google builds some press and information through industry experts around core algorithm updates as well as algorithm updates. And core algorithm updates generally are not penalizing in nature. So essentially what I'm trying to say is the historical algorithm updates which were released, namely Penguin and Panda, if that website is involved in bad practices, then those updates eventually degrade the ranking positions of those websites, and unless those bad practices are not completely resolved, those websites would not rise in rankings. Also, they will be released from that penalty, which we unofficially call as algorithmic penalty. Those websites will only be released from the penalty once Google releases a refresh to that algorithm update. For instance, if Google penalizes algorithmically a website through Penguin update, which happened historically, and a lot of huge websites lost almost 30 to 50% of their organic search traffic overnight, they would only achieve that traffic back if they fix what is causing the harm, and B, once Google releases a refresh on the algorithm update, for that instance a refresh of Penguin, only then they would achieve that ranking back. Over the period of years, through core algorithm updates, Google is minimizing such massive updates as such and integrating the ranking signals within the core algorithm itself. So every time an iteration to the core algorithm gets released, it is known as core algorithm update.
Sounds interesting, Ajaz. I think Google has been taking all the efforts to enhance user search experience, which gets me to the other topic that Google is encouraging high quality content, and people are talking about the helpful content update. Could you tell us about it?
Certainly. So, first of all, there's been a lot of press and information built intentionally by Google around the helpful content update, and everybody was expecting the impact to be massive. However, that did not happen. When probed further, Google's official spokesperson Daniel Sullivan pointed out in one of his tweets that though the impact may not be there upon the release of helpful content update, it would tip the scale over time. So by that, what they intend to mean is, while the helpful content update may not have a significant impact on your search rankings at the moment, over time this will build up.
So Ajaz, what is the impact of the helpful content update on performance, and how will it impact the marketing activities in general?
While the impact on performance has not been huge, this will give rise to a new form of approach that one needs to take while creating content for their own website. So the intention of helpful content update was to degrade positions for websites that are using AI to develop content. So Google, over the period of the years, has become far better at identifying and penalizing websites that produce AI content. So that was the first item that Google wanted to address through this update. And the second and another very important signal is user experience. So Google wants to give an excellent user experience to all the searchers and would want to rank and land users on websites which are offering the same experience that Google intends to offer to its searchers. Third, and another very important element of this update is expected to be site-wide. So the earlier iterations of the algorithm updates would identify and penalize certain landing pages which have been participating in poor practices. However, by being site-wide, what this update means is, if only a handful of landing pages, or if there is a pattern of certain sections of your website participating in producing poor content or content that is not going to be helpful for your users, the impact could be that your performance, your entire website's performance could be impacted as a result. So it is not just the handful of pages which were participating in poor practices, the overall performance can be degraded. The fourth item would be an increased focus on expertise, and this essentially also includes the element of expertise which is a part of EAT. So there is an increased focus on the expertise through content development. So Google wants to focus there as well. And the fifth item would be the update has weighted signals. By that, what I mean is, if the participation is low, the impact on performance may not be huge, and it will get more intensive with the intensity of the participation. By that, if only a handful of landing pages are participating in poor practices, then the impact may be very less. But if there is a consistent pattern of many sections and landing pages participating in producing AI generated content, producing poor experience for users, then the impact will be far more intense.
Understood, Ajaz. So what is the new Google core algorithm update that just came out in September, and what should SEO folks be focusing on?
So this is very intentional. Google released an update right after the helpful content update was over. And again, as I was speaking earlier, helpful content update specifically focused on a set of signals. However, the iteration that was released in the core algorithm update goes far broader and wider. And I personally believe that is very intentional. There are two reasons for that. The first reason is Google, while releasing helpful content update, or upon the release and rollout was complete of the helpful content update, Google realized that the impact was just not there. and they immediately went ahead and released an iteration of the helpful content update within the core update itself. So the signals which were separately being rolled out and captured in the form of helpful content update could be articulated and well included within the core algorithm update itself. And the second potential reason, and this is again basis experience, Google does not want to have a lot of clarity around the signals that it would change during algorithm update releases. By that I mean, if people can figure out what signals are changing or are going to change specifically, and if those signals are easy to influence, then people tend to game the system itself. Hence, Google consciously wants to have the signals which are changing and that information murky, because it becomes more difficult for people to then go back and influence those signals with the core intention, or in fact the only intention, of rising in organic search.
Sounds interesting, Ajaz. So content is at the core of user search experience. So how is Merkle Sokrati helping stalwart brands enhance their content and grow their organic growth?
So we happen to be a partner for a lot of these brands, and we help develop content strategy for them. We've been fortunate enough to not only work with them but have produced some case studies around producing excellent results for them. So a couple of brands that I want to briefly talk about today. The first one would be for this brand. While Uber remains a household name across India and over the world, we built their core organic search presence through content production. So by defining a core strategy, by selecting the right keywords, we've been able to not only help them gain momentum early upon the launch of their website, but they consistently add more search traffic through organic results. The second brand that I want to talk about is, and has been our partner for the past almost a couple of years, and during pandemic and after that they have seen a massive transformation and growth through organic search. This brand operates in B2B space. Though the demand in B2B space is not high, the competition is fierce. As opposed to wanted to be very particular about the kind of audience that we acquire, and B, the kind of content that is shown to the audience. So for them, we worked around selecting not only the right keywords, but building a pillar-based content strategy wherein each topic, no matter how broad it is addressed through multiple pieces of content basis the intention of the users. We're trying to produce content for them that is evergreen, and user experience remains at the center of everything we do. So while topics need not to be fresh, since the brand operates in B2B space, the intensity of information that would go on the landing pages would be high. And I'm talking about technical content here, hence expertise becomes very important. We work with them as a partner and support their existing in-house team to work with them on building strategy and also defining the kind of expertise we want to build and the topics we want to build this expertise around. So it's been an excellent engagement so far, and we cannot wait to look forward to what we can do for them in future.
It was great talking to you today, Ajaz.
Thank you for the opportunity, Diksha. I am very excited to test our theories and mechanism around these updates. Since we are always on the lookout for new changes by Google, we constantly test out our theories and often do this by taking our client as partners so they can reap in the benefits of these new developments. While there are constant changes in Google's algorithm, the principles remain the same. Google wants to offer an excellent user experience to all the searchers, and we want to be aligned there.
Thanks everyone for watching the video. Do reach out to us for a quick SEO audit.